Hello and welcome to another video of Upper Cervical Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Jeffrey Hanna, and today we're going to be doing a sit-down interview with Miss Linda Thompson, a lady we've had the pleasure to know for the better part of around 9 years, who talks about just the various things that she's been able to do in her life as a result of the kind of care that we have been able to offer and provide her. So, hope you enjoy. Today we're just having a little conversation with Mrs. Linda Thompson. We've known each other for probably about 8 years. Something like 9? Okay, yeah, I stand corrected here. And in brief, she's willing to just share a little bit of her story here in terms of the nature of the things that we've been doing together, helping her to be able to enjoy best, quality of life. Why? Because in brief, the nature of the healthcare that we do, that we provide, relatively unique. And so a lot of times when people are looking for answers, they've been to this doctor, this specialist, this whoever, they're not quite finding the results that they're looking for. And so it's about, sharing this story so that other people know, what other options there are. But in addition to that, at least by having this particular conversation, not from me, but you'll hear it obviously from Linda, is we have a slightly bit of a different accent. So we're just chatting with a few people we've had the good pleasure to know here in Australia, so that people who are local know that this is actually an option available. So, Linda, what I'm going to ask you first and foremost is we're going to have you share just a little bit about yourself. What is your passion? What do you love doing? The best things, what gets you up in the morning? Just a little bit about you first.
Okay, a little bit about me first. Currently what I do is I play golf. That was my retirement goal, was to be able to play golf. And when I'm good, which is a lot of the times now thanks to Dr. Jeff, I try to play golf 2 to 3 times a week. Other days I garden. We have a massively big garden, which I've had to get some help with because I'm not a nanny goat anymore. But I love gardening, growing vegetables, roses, and I dabble in painting, which is my sort of social event. The man that I go to has a big shed, and we all turn up on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and he says, now, is anybody doing any work today, or are you still going to be chatting when it's time to go home? So it's a lot of fun, and that's, I think, is really important, that you can have that type of thing in your retirement life.
Okay. And keep going at that. In fact, don't I still, even to this day, that's the number one question that I ask you when you come in?
How's the golf?
How's the golf? Because I remember when we first met, that was the one thing that was most important to you.
Yes.
So,
if we backtrack just a little bit, my history, apparently I fell out of a car when I was 2 years old and landed on my head. I don't know why that was allowed to happen, but obviously it did. And so all my life I have struggled with just different issues with my back, my legs, my muscles, you name it. Migraines, I suffered from migraines for the longest time. And I saw umpteen specialist medical people, physiotherapists, chiropractors, you name it. And yes, they could fix a certain bit, but it always came back, and it was always something else. And it never got me to the level where I felt I was really enjoying good quality of life. I came to see Dr. Jeff when Chris first came to see Dr. Jeff, and listening to him describe the philosophy and the theory behind what they do with the upper cervical care, I said to Dr. Jeff, would you like a challenge? Which he immediately accepted, thinking, can't be that much of a challenge. However, we will go to the stages where we come out here and we get the neck checked, and Dr. Jeff's very professional opinion is yuck. And he then proceeds to fix the yuck. So I was also told that I'd be in a wheelchair by the time I was 60, and did everything I could to stop that, and it doesn't appear to be any danger of that happening now. So I can only say that through all the people that I saw before I saw Dr. Jeff, yes, they could fix me to a certain extent, but they never will find in the crux of the matter, whereas Dr. Jeff can. And yes, I slide off the track sometimes, especially because I try to do too much. But I can come back and it's like, yes, this is the issue, and you've done this, and we can fix it. And that's, you just can't describe how wonderful a life quality of life it can give you to know that if you are in this pain, it can be relieved to a certain. I mean, it does come back because, as Dr. Jeff would tell you, I'm full of arthritis and all kinds of things going on. But it's still just such a much better quality of life through the care that I've had through the upper cervical.
Well, that's actually, if I can, I'm going to ask you then a rude question you should never ask a lady in front of the camera, especially. So rude questions. We're having this conversation right now. How old are you?
I'm 74.
Okay, so you are 14 years past where they said that you would be in a wheelchair.
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, definitely true without, sharing too many of the personal details. Lots of arthritis, absolutely everywhere. And oftentimes that's useful because to share is a lot of times when people have arthritis, they think, okay, it's just it. It's the arthritis that's causing all my restrictions and there's nothing that I can do about it. Well, there are people where, they've got, almost no arthritis, and yet they're in absolute agony all the time. And other people, it can be everywhere. And yes, it does affect mobility. And as much as we like to say, oh, yeah, things will stabilize forever, it's like, no. We have to respect the physical body that we have. But in the same breath, is if you keep doing all of the things as much as you are wanting to, it's like you don't have to be bedbound or crippled over in a wheelchair, and just you keep doing to the best of your ability the things that you can. And so, okay, 14 years, and then keep going for at least another 14. I should sincerely hope.
Hope so.
Providing the gardening doesn't kill you first.
I think it's the golf that's going to kill me than gardening. But also, one thing I would like to say is if there's any aspiring chiropractors out there studying the upper cervical system, please come and live in Brisbane because we don't have enough. And like my husband previously, I travel for an hour to get here when I come to see Dr. Jeff, and sometimes it's an hour and a half, but we have no choice because we know that what we're getting here is worth it.
And it's a big problem. We really wish we had a better solution to. And it's not just it's not simply in Australia kind of thing. That's true also in Canada. It's certainly true in Europe. It's also still very much true in the U.S. Believe it or not. It just is that as things currently are in Australia, that it's a little bit lower, which of course makes it a little bit more challenging. I mean, no joke, I think the farthest person I've seen who routinely come and visit, you're talking about 6 hours one way. So, yeah, it's not ideal, but certainly the resources are out there, and I do hope that in the future that, where people realize, okay, hey, this is an option, this is important, what can we do?
Definitely Brisbane, Australia. Come visit. It's a lovely place to live, and there's a big demand for an upper cervical couple of practices.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, what do you have to look forward to then? What's next on the cards? Is it going to be pretty much being the lady of leisure, or still doing like any of the you're doing golf tours, I think, actually for a little while.
Yeah.
And then I know things have been a little bit of hiatus the last couple of years. What do you guys have planned to look forward to?
I think COVID put a stop to a lot of things, but we're getting back into the life that we had before COVID, which, yes, we go on golf trips a couple of times a year. We belong to a social group that's in northern New South Wales, and 3 or 4 times a year we get together with them, all different courses. So more golf, I think, and again, thanks to you, Dr. Jeff, I can do it because I was really struggling when I first met you to be able to play a small amount of golf, and now I play too much golf, almost.
That's it.
I don't think you can play too much golf at my age, but I think it's just so nice to have just to have a quality of life and know we can plan to do something and know we're going to be fit enough and well enough to be able to do it.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going.
Mm.
So on that note there, just for anybody out there, because you've been in this situation where you can feel that your body is not quite moving the way that you may have used to. There's these pains, these problems. And a lot of times, again, people attribute that to quote unquote just getting old. It's like it's not, that is not necessarily the case. But then, people to a certain degree, they can become, resigned to their fate. You definitely weren't. So the question I would ask you then is, what would you say to somebody then who is in that boat, that situation? Because you've been there in the past. You were not satisfied with this is the way it's always going to be and always going to feel. It's like, no, I want to keep doing the things in my life. What would you say to those people?
What can you say but find somebody with the upper cervical expertise and try them, because yes, you can't fix everything, and we are constantly recommending our friends, but because it's an hour plus drive, a lot of them just will not do that travel because they just don't get it. They just don't. They go, "I know chiropractors, we don't go to chiropractors," or whatever. And I think it's just a matter of finding a practitioner, because it really works. That's all I can say, is it works.
Okay, so the simple solution, we just need more of the people who do what I do, but for the love of God, not more of me, because the world does not need more of me. Just more of what he does.
Well, I don't know, Dr. Jeff. I think you have a pretty good bedside manner. We enjoy coming out.
You just said it to yourself. You said that my professional bedside manner is we feel that yuck.
Well, there you go. You're normal.
Honest. Okay, we'll take that right there. Okay, so Linda, just as we finish this one up here, one always last question, because again, it's important, just sharing messages, hope, inspiration, all that sort of stuff for people out there. Sometimes even going beyond, healing. What would be, a little bit of a wisdom, something that you've learned over the years, or maybe something that was given to you that, really, if people followed this general practice, you think would, ultimately help to elevate humanity?
I think one of the philosophies that's really good to live by is really to live in the moment. Don't let the negative aspects of the world take away from you just living every day and enjoying it to the very best that you possibly can.
All right. And then
That's the best I can say, I think.
That's about perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for sharing your story and everything you've done. The world is a better place because you've been in it.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks for watching this video again here. Hope you enjoyed it and found something really useful and valuable. If that's the case, 3 things we always ask you. Number 1, please do like and subscribe the video so that other people who need this information are able to find it. Number 2 is, if we've gone ahead and actually described somebody who you may know in your life who experiences the same kind of things that Linda has shared with you, I'm going to ask you, please share this video with them. And then number 3 is, if what we've said here is giving you hope, the idea that there's something different that I can do to help out, what we'd have you do is go to our website, which is uppercervicalspokane.com, where you've got a whole series of videos, blogs, research reports describing how this particular type of care might be able to help you out. My name again is Dr. Jeffrey Hanna, and I'm at Clear Chiropractic Spokane. Have a great day.